All right, here we are on the office of head coach Dallas Ferguson. The Nanooks we get set to kick off the 2016-2017 season here at home with the Brice Alaska Goal Rush tournament. Coach, we come into this weekend here having a couple of games under our belt. We have the blue gold scrimmage, obviously, in the exhibition against Simon Fraser, but our first real test of the regular season opener down at the UAA Classic in Anchorage with the opener against the Seawolves on Saturday. And the second game against the number 13 ranked team in the country, Minnesota, on Sunday. Talk to us about this team this year and what we're looking like so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think we, for us right now with, there's been a theme, everyone's talking about how young we are, but I mean, I think it's just been a process to kind of making sure that we were, implementing everything with the right approach with teaching and making sure guys were understanding, how we wanted to play, how the systems looked, and we've had good leadership from our returning guys. But I think that I think the guys are progressing very well. I think that if you look from the blue gold game to the exhibition game to what we did last weekend, I think that you're starting to see guys get a little more comfortable in the spots they need to be in and how we want to play. And I think it's real important, especially early on with the younger group, to really establish the identity of which we need to play with to be successful. And I thought last weekend was a good effort, and definitely a lot of positives to pull out of the weekend as we move through practice this week.
Sure. So you brought it up. I'll bring it up as well. The youth of the team.
Yeah.
18 underclassmen. That's almost 2/3 of your roster, pretty much. You lose 52% of your scoring, departing last year, but you got real promising guys with 12 incoming freshmen this year. Guys like Troy Van Tetering, who had a real solid goal there against Minnesota. Colton Leader, Tristan Thompson, guys that can really log a lot of minutes for you. Talk about the prospects this season and what you're hoping from them.
Yeah, I mean it's been fun. I mean I think probably it's happened twice in my 13 years here where we've had the 12, 13 man freshman class. So which is large, but I think that there's the side of it that brings the youthfulness, the enthusiasm, which has been evident with this group as well. But there's also some guys in here that have this is what they've been waiting for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to get to college and be playing D1 hockey and get on campus and get going with their college careers. And guys like Troy, I mean, again, just been a progression. Like every week he seems to be getting stronger and got real good ability with his feet. I mean, he moves well and he stays on the forecheck and he does a lot of the little things, I think, in order to help a team be successful. And we got rewarded with a real nice goal on Saturday night that got us within one against Minnesota. I think guys like Tristan Thompson on the back end, I think, has been progressing too. I think since he's got on campus, I mean, he's an undersized guy that defends well. His positioning's good, but he's going to block shots. He's going to be able to move pucks quickly, and helps us really in our offensive game is to be able to get the puck up the ice quick. And and guy like Colton Leader too, same thing. I mean, he's a bigger body that his progression, I don't think he was totally comfortable with the puck through the first two opportunities in our blue gold in the Simon Fraser game, but I think he kind of really settled in, I think, on Friday night against Anchorage. I mean, he was moving his feet and the puck was on his stick, and he was starting to make some plays at the net, which was good to see. And there's a little bit of everything. You got Tyler Klein too, who's was the 13th forward against Simon Fraser, and probably was our most effective player just with scoring chances. And he's progressed and fitting in really well with playing with Taylor Munson and Chad Staley. So there's each one of them brings a little bit something different to the lineup, and I think the depth they've helped in making a competitive depth chart as far as guys that are going to be in and going to be out, and I think that's what's bringing the most out of guys right now. But I think they've had good leadership. I think our returning guys have done a nice job through the summer training, and them coming in here and realizing what we're looking for when we're doing it on and off the ice type of thing. And I think I've been really appreciative of our leadership and how they've taken these guys in, and it's kind of a combination. But things are good. They're a fun group to work with, and I know they get after it every day, so that's kind of nice from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, well, leadership does breed success, especially with these guys coming into Division I hockey, and obviously a new pace to the game, a whole new level of play. But you got guys like Brandon Morley wearing the C on his chest this year, Zach Fry, Justin Woods, and Josh Erickson. Certainly a good cluster, a good core team of leaders to help this team out. Brandon Morley, though, really kind of stepping out and stepping up this year. I mean, he has several good key plays this last weekend that really kind of helped breed success with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I was really happy with Brandon's weekend. I thought he made a couple really nice plays for on goals, but he was checking well. He was a competitive player. I don't think at times, I think maybe in the past he's been kind of maybe thinking his way around the rink a little bit, where it slows him down. Like, he's a tenacious player that needs to keep his feet moving and keep the engine running. And I was really happy with him. I mean, I thought he was creating some turnovers. He was hard to play against, and he was obviously creating some goals for us too, which is really good to see from him this early.
Yeah, well, and of course on the back end of that with Zach Fry and Justin Woods, obviously, like I said before, wearing the A on their chest this year, but leading a team of real solid defensemen on the back end this year too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both Zach and Justin, I mean, they need to be guys that lead for us, and you put Nick Hins into that category too. On the left side, we've got 2 juniors and a senior that we need leadership from. But they both, with Justin and Zach, I mean, they shoot the puck really well. I thought their puck game was good. I mean, it's just, you need those guys, that core guys on your back end, to be able to lead, and especially with some younger guys. I mean, if you looked at our lineup, we had those 3, and then we had 2 freshmen and a sophomore. So it's kind of a the bottom part of your classes and the top part of your classes, and making for a good mix. And I mean, I think in the discussion is guys like Jack Weiss, Danny Corrali, and Jordan Burns are all in the discussion, and it's nice to have to put that type of pressure on your coaches to see who's going to be in the lineup every night. And I think that it's going to help us get better as we go through the season, and injuries are going to happen, and I think having that depth and guys that can step in like that is going to be real important for us. For
sure. Well, let's focus on the UAA game first for a second. Obviously your first real actual regular season Division I contest, but what a better way to do it against your main rival in Anchorage, right? And obviously your leadership, they're going to explain to these underclassmen what this UAA UAF rivalry is all about. But to come out guns blazing with 3 goals in the first period, I think the shots, if I'm not mistaken, were somewhere in the vicinity of 4-2 or 14-3, excuse me. But talk, with the game starting off so fast, especially with the youth, what does it look like from a mental perspective as that game progressed?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the one takeaway for us. I mean, we liked the way we started the game. We got a power play goal. I think scoring first is a pretty important part of the game, where you can get your team kind of settled down a little bit, get a lead, and get going with it. But I think the way we handled the 3-goal lead was something, just an evaluation from the coaches, is that we didn't deviate from how we needed to play. I think it's easy to do. You feel pretty good about what you did for 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you're in a tie game going into the third. And I thought our guys stayed with it really well. And our penalty kill, I think, all weekend was good. I don't think we gave up one, on the penalty kill. So I think that was a big part of both games. But I think the UAA game, scoring early and maintaining the lead and finishing the game off right was a real positive for us. And again, we kind of got it from all sources. But I mean, scoring's not easy at this level, and I think you got to shoot the puck and you got to go to the net, and you're going to get rewarded for that. And I think that's kind of what we did. I mean, we had 2 rebound goals and a point shot and a net drive goal. So I think there's a lot to be said about simplifying your offense, and you're going to be effective that way.
Sure, scoring is very difficult at this level, and last year, especially in certain points of that season, you see the highs and lows throughout that season. But the first weekend, against 2 formidable opponents, especially with Minnesota, 7 goals on the weekend is certainly nothing to balk at.
No, and I think they just have to be mindful of how you score them. They're all typically scored from point shots with screens and rebounds and stuff around the net. So it's not necessarily something new, but it's something if you stay focused on it, and you get into those times of your seasons, and it's going to happen, where pucks aren't going in the net for us, and then you got to just kind of step back a little bit and simplify it and make sure anytime we get a chance we're shooting, because typically when you're not scoring you shoot less, because you're not feeling like it's the right play. And I think it has to be the opposite mindset. We've got to get more pucks on net, and get more bodies to the net, and create traffic and make it hard on goaltenders to see the puck, and obviously not get out and challenge if you got a good net presence too.
Yeah, sure. So looking at Sunday's game against Minnesota, obviously a 6-3 loss. You had an empty net goal in there, a couple of quick shorthanded goals with just some quick transition by the Gophers. But talk about that game, maybe and what you took away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was on the other side of it. I mean, they scored a shorthanded goal to get the game going, and then we contested the offside. We thought maybe it was offside, and then so it kind of maybe was a good thing. It kind of just slowed the game down for a few minutes while they looked at it, and then we came out and scored right away on the power play again with a nice shot by Zach Fry. And we got into the second period, and I thought there was just a little span there where we weren't quite getting the pucks deep. We weren't quite getting the pucks at the net. We were kind of a couple little drop passes, and all of a sudden when you got big gaps between your forwards and your D, and you got a transition team like Minnesota, there's gonna be some odd man situations, and they capitalized on them. But again, I thought we responded fairly well with not getting too discombobulated when all of a sudden they got 2 ahead of us, and we ended up getting the next one to make it 4-3, and then again give up a rush goal for them to go 5-3. But it was a good experience, good team. They play well. They real good composure with the puck, and they force you to minimize your mistakes to have success against them. And I think if anything, that's probably what we learned.
Well, sure, in a program with that much history and obviously that much prowess, they're not the number 13 team in the country for no reason. So, but obviously you play this game a little further down in the season, that you probably could expect a much different outcome, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but I just think we learned from that. It's a good hockey team, and we knew going in we needed to be good. But again, you stick with the game plan for 60 minutes, whether you're up or down. I will bet most nights you're going to have success.
Well, sure. Well, 3 goals against that team is certainly nothing to complain about. Looking ahead of this coming weekend as we open the regular season at home with the Brice Alaska Goal Rush, we have Canisius in town for Friday, Nebraska Omaha in town Saturday. What are we looking at this coming weekend at the Carlson Center?
Yeah, I mean, I think we haven't seen each team for a few years, but I think I expect the games will be fast. I think both teams like to get up and down the ice and puck pressure, and it's going to come down to execution. When you're playing that fast of a game and that heavy a game, I think you got to be able to play in traffic, and you got to play with that time and space factor. And I think the team that executes the best typically is the team that wins. And you got to be able to execute under pressure. And I expect games to be physical. I expect them to be fast, and everybody's still kind of in the same position. They've got a couple games under their belt, and trying to continue to work on solidifying what the team ID is and what slots guys are going to be in. And next weekend we've got Mankato, so this will be our last evaluation until we set our roster for what will be points on the line weekend. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, it's always, we always get good support through the tournament, and the Face-Off Club has lots of fun things going on with for the fans. And I know that it's Parents Weekend, so I think we've got 19 of our 29 players will have their families up. So it's always exciting for the parents and for the players to know that their family's there with them, and so it'll be fun. I mean, it's both teams are going to be competitive for us, and again, but at this point in the season, we're really focused on what we're doing and how we need to be doing things to be successful.
And nothing like having the parents in the stands to help motivate a little bit extra, huh? Well, again, the first weekend of the regular season here at home in Fairbanks at the Carlson Center will kick off with the Brice Alaska Goal Rush, Canisius on Friday, Nebraska Omaha on Saturday. Of course, as he mentioned, the Face-Off Club does have lots of fun things planned for Parents Weekend, but also a free tailgate party before the game on Saturday against Nebraska Omaha. That will start at 4 o'clock over in front of the Carlson Center. Free food, free drinks. Come on over, have some fun before the game and get pumped for the season. But before I let you go, we're going to open things up here to Twitter. You know how this can go.
There we go.
Yeah, so Q&A, follow at Nanooks Hockey on Twitter. It's the Nanooks Hockey Blog here. But the Mr. Front Page decided to play a little game of A or B with you here.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 2 choices. You got to pick one. No deviating from the rules here. But
I'm always on the fence on stuff too.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so number 1, salsa or queso?
Salsa.
Salsa, all right, fair enough. A beard or a goatee?
I think I can't grow either, but I will go with a beard because I would want that more than a goatee.
There you go. Does Tara approve of that? Or?
No. My kids don't like it either. So.
Well, in true Alaskan spirit, though, you got to go with the beard look, I guess. All right, so sports here. Kobe or LeBron?
I think I go with the elder. I'll go with Kobe.
And you go. Can't argue with legacy. Now he's retired. LeBron. Maybe that changes a couple years. I don't know. Peyton or Brady?
Yeah, that's really tough because I really like both. I think I'm gonna go with Brady.
Tom Brady.
I like New England and Belichick. He's my guy. So
well, there you go. Last week he got it done. First came back from suspension. He's got 4 Super Bowl rings for a reason. So I won't argue with you on that one either. All right, Superman, Batman. Who's your superhero?
I'm not a superhero guy, but Superman.
Is it just because he's the one that actually has superpowers?
It's something to do with the phone booth and how it can change, I think.
Millennials don't even know what phone booths are.
We were just talking about that. They're not even in airports anymore.
Yeah, right? Everyone's got cell phones these days, so maybe they'll come up with something different. And last but certainly not least, latte or cappuccino?
Well, I'm an Americano guy, but if I had to pick one, probably a vanilla latte.
Vanilla latte, there you go. Well, certainly at Starbucks in the Fairbanks Airport, and it gets a lot of business there in those red-eye flights before you guys head out. So thanks for being here, Coach Ferguson. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Behind the Bench with Coach Ferguson. We'll talk to you next week after hopefully some 2 Nanook victories.
Absolutely. Thank you, Britton.
Happy to. Go Nooks.
Go Nooks.